Hey everyone, welcome back to another video where briefly we just want to remind everyone that any diet can be healthy in the short term. And the specific context that we're thinking of is if you follow a diet to bring yourself from an obese body composition down to a normal weight body composition, then whatever diet you're following is probably having a net beneficial effect on your health, because carrying around excess body fat is one of the most harmful things that you can do.
And that's why we are always saying, do what works for you.
Yes,
because that's really what matters the most,
yeah,
but not altogether.
Yeah, exactly. And so like you want to go carnivore, go carnivore. You want to go vegan, go vegan. You want to drink like Slim Fast shakes, drink your shakes.
Weight Watchers.
Yeah, Weight Watchers, like
they've even had people do the McDonald's diet.
Yeah, or Twinkies or whatever. Like certain diet, like obviously, or you want to do a juice fast for 3 months and just lose like 50 pounds, by all means do it. As long as you're ensuring you're getting your vitamins and minerals from something like popping a multivitamin pill, then it doesn't really matter what type of diet you do. It's going to have a net beneficial effect on your health, because you're going to just shed all of this fat that's negatively contributing to your health and quality of life. But just because that happens does not mean that diet is healthy. It just means that the context surrounding that diet's use and consumption is a net beneficial one, right?
I see this a lot, and I don't want to go on a tangent. In cancer, people like that are fat, and then they go on a vegan diet or something, and they think the vegan diet like cured their cancer. And
well, yeah, a lot of people, because again, excess fat mass is not just associated with a ton of adverse health effects. It's actually causal for a bunch of adverse health effects,
like cancer.
Yes.
And so they conflate their weight loss with that diet being curative. Right?
Exactly. So yeah, cancer is one example. Maybe they have
diabetes.
Bunch of diet. That's an even better one. Yeah. So we know that the number one cause of type 2 diabetes is surpassing your own personal fat threshold, leading to the accumulation of ectopic fat in skeletal muscle, the liver, and the pancreas. When you lose fat mass, you're losing fat from all those places. So your liver, pancreas, and your skeletal muscle can start functioning as they naturally should, and diabetes as a disease disappears. It's literally cured, and we have the work of Roy Taylor to thanks for figuring all this out. People go on any number of diet. They have type 2 diabetes, carnivore, vegan, Slim Fast, Weight Watchers, paleo, Mediterranean, DASH, blood type diet, whatever. Like, doesn't matter what the diet is, Ornish diet. It literally cures their type 2 diabetes by causing an abundance of fat loss. And they're like, this diet's amazing. It made me so much healthier, et cetera, et cetera.
You come across the zealots on social media.
And it's like, well,
it really did work for them, but for the wrong reason.
Hey, I'm not doubting your diet worked for you, but also let's, not ignore the elephant in the room. You lost a ton of body fat. And so did your diet help you do that? Hell yeah. Like, good for you. I'm claps, pats on backs. Like, you did an amazing thing. But, like you can't stay on that diet over the long term, because we know it has detrimental effects, right? So like all the people out there following a carnivore diet, we know that over the long term, you're exponentially increasing your risk of colorectal cancer. All of the mechanisms are there. We have the causal evidence in animals and emerging evidence in humans showing the same thing.
They're worse than the, I don't want to get on that. They're like one of the worst on social media.
Yeah, they are. They are. And that's just because you need prebiotic fiber to maintain a healthy microbiome, period. And we know that the excessive fermentation of protein-based compounds without the undigestible carbohydrate to counter that causes the formation of carcinogenic and genotoxic compounds that damage the intestinal lining and causes visceral hypersensitivity as well as cancer. So that's one example.
You look good.
Yeah, but you look good, right? So that's one example. And of like, it might help you in the short term. It might make your life incredibly awesome over like maybe the year that you use it to get to a normal body composition, which frankly, if you're obese, your risk of colorectal cancer is even higher. So yeah, getting to a normal body weight is beneficial there.
It's a net benefit.
But then you got to transition, right? Some of these aren't sustainable. Another example is if you're drinking 800 calorie shakes every day, like that's not ideal over the long term. But is it going to help you lose that fat mass? Yeah. And is it going to improve your health during the time it's helping you lose fat mass? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
You just don't want to like end up with nutrient deficiencies in the long term.
That's the whole point of this is like, look, if you're using something to lose fat mass because it works for you, keep doing it. Because
I often go vegetarian or even like vegan with protein powders, like when I'm trying to lose weight because it's easier for me.
Yeah.
Like that's just what I do. I've always done that.
Yeah. And so if something's helping you lose fat, keep sticking to it on your journey.
Switch to it.
And then
we're balanced.
And then you can alter your diet after you've lost the fat mass to ensure that you're not
nutrient dense.
Yeah, and not setting yourself up for any potential long-term complications that could happen due to the diet.
What would you constitute as like a nutrient sufficient diet for long-term maintenance?
I think the best one's Mediterranean and any iteration of it. I think the Mediterranean diet, or I should say, what Western like medicine has propped up as the Mediterranean diet, I think has been like the most consistently associated with health out there. And I think you just can't go wrong.
And more studies that come out all the time.
Yeah, and you can do various, iterations of it. Like, oh God, I don't know. You could modify it so that it's more like paleo-esque, so to speak, more low carbish, more vegetarian or veganish.
Whatever you like.
Yeah, I think fundamentally though, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I think the core of any healthy diet and any iteration of a healthy diet is one that supplies adequate bioavailable protein, whether that comes from certain animal products or protein powders. One that prioritizes unsaturated fat, particularly monounsaturated fat over saturated fat, and one that provides ample fiber, preferably from fibrous vegetables and fruits. And I think that's the core. And then you can build off that depending on what you want to do. Do you want to go higher carb? Do you want to go lower carb, higher fat? Do you want to go, more protein, which would necessitate higher fiber as well to help offset some of the detrimental effects? But I think there's a lot of roads that could get you to Rome. I would probably also say that you'd want to limit red meat. If you're going to eat animal proteins, I would prioritize fish and white meat like chicken. And I think all of that would lead to what would ultimately be like the healthiest iteration of what you could do over the long term. But does that mean
that's how we eat?
Let's say you hate chicken and you're just like, look, I'm just going to eat bison. It's red meat. And it's like, yeah, okay. I don't necessarily think that in the context of an otherwise healthy diet. I think stressing out about a lot of this stuff is going to do more long-term damage than actually just eating it.
Yeah, I think that's a often forgotten about thing in the nutrition sphere is they forget how neurotic people get and how scared and anxious they are. And they're walking around like that 24/7 every time they see food. Like they're just
and
freaking out, trying to micromanage everyone else and themselves.
Exactly. And to be a little blunt, like the research connecting harmful effects of chronic stress is a lot stronger than the research linking certain food components to disease. So if you're worrying about food and causing yourself chronic stress because of it, I just think it's a little, it's a little backward priority. So yeah, that was the gist of this video. Short-term success can short term, you can have net benefits on your health depending on what's going on, such as during fat loss, but that's completely separate from what something would do over the long term.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, well, if you like this video, great. That's what we're trying to do. Like the video, share it with a friend, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone.